Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tea with Trish. Today I have my guest.
Ese Daz of Spanish Fly.
What? Say that again?
Ese Daz of Spanish Fly.
Okay, I hope you got that. So thank you so much for being here. Nice to meet you. We've never had the pleasure, right?
No.
So thanks for coming on Tea with Trish.
Hey.
I was just asking you if you've ever done a podcast. We were talking about different podcasts.
Right.
And you were saying that you had never been on a podcast quite like this.
No.
No? And so what's the difference between this podcast and other podcasts that you've been on?
To be honest, this was cozy. Like, you won't want to leave this podcast. I mean, got the fires. I mean, the other podcasts are a little different. And, I have done a few. I think the last one I did was the ODM podcast of Latino Brown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was his. I did American Cholo in the past, so it's been a few that I've done, but it's been a long time, and they haven't been like this one.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what was your favorite podcast that you've done this far? This far, you don't have to say this one because we're not done yet.
Yeah, we haven't done this one.
What is your favorite one of all time?
Favorite one, I would say probably the ODM one.
Okay.
I like the way that interview went. And a lot of the stuff that we talked about. Some of the things I hadn't talked about before.
Like?
We just got real deep into like my group Spanish Fly, and talked a lot about the 90s, and I like how he ran that podcast, like the way he ran the interview.
Yeah.
It went really well. So I enjoyed it, and it was just cool vibes, positive.
Yeah. So you say talk about the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so you're gonna have to spill the tea on how old are you?
Man.
Just spill it.
73.
Jeez, you look good for 73.
Thank you.
Okay, so I mean, it's a question. So, like, do you tell?
I just turned 51, April 13th.
Holy,
it's a blessing.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm shook.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to ask your skincare regimen. I'm just kidding.
Wow,
no, seriously though.
Yeah.
51?
Yeah.
I'm seriously like that's like you do not look 51. You look so young.
Appreciate that. Probably genetics.
Yeah, no, it
My
has
mom,
to be.
because no skincare, just get in the pool, little jacuzzi
Oh my God,
and whiskey. Drink a lot of whiskey.
Okay, ladies,
You know?
do you hear that? So I know you're watching. Listen to
Yeah.
it. Get in the pool and drink whiskey, and you will look amazing at 51.
And the jacuzzi, late nights with some whiskey. That's it.
Oh my God. Okay, so 51. So obviously you've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
A long
time. For a long. I didn't want to say a long time. I said a minute. But so you've been blessed to be around.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so tell me just tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Harbor area, so it's known as the Harbor area, the city of Carson. But the Harbor area, you got Wilmington, San Pedro, Carson. You got Gardena out there, Long Beach. So I grew up in that area. But Carson is my city. I went to Carson High School, Dolores Elementary School.
Okay.
But yeah, Carson is where I grew up, culturally diverse. You got a lot of races there, so it was a blessing growing up there, and
Yeah.
my parents brought us there, so yeah.
Okay, so you say culturally diverse. Like, I'm looking at you and I can't tell like what. I mean, you have light eyes.
Well,
light skin. Like, do people confuse you for being like?
Well, for me, I'm Mexicano, right?
Okay.
So like straight up, but like the area I grew up in, you had everything black, Filipino. So I grew up with a lot of races and culturally diverse. That's what I mean. But they do mistaken me sometimes and say like, oh, Cuban or.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm like, nah, it's Mexican, straight up, 100%.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so Carson is where you grew up.
Yeah.
And when did you first get into the industry?
Oh, man. Well, I first started rapping 14 years old. Yeah, we had a group called Spanish Fly. It was Ese Rich Rock. We had a song called So 18 with a Bullet, which was the one that kind of blew up at like 91.
Okay.
It was my boy Trish, myself, Ese Daz, and Rich Rock. And but yeah, 14 years old, I was a DJ, started DJing, just the whole, hip hop, break dancing, that whole era. It was a beautiful era, just the break dancing, the DJing, the MCs. And so, yeah, we were kids in middle school, already rapping. And then we just had a 4-track, your turntables, the Technique 1200. It's like a history lesson right now.
Yeah.
But the records, Frank Tricks, his dad, he was a musician, and he had crates of records in the back. I remember the back house, and we just dig through the records. And, growing up at that time is like when the whole Cholo thing started happening. And you did have NWA, so we kind of wanted to, like, tell it from the brown side of town, like, hey, this is our story, a little different with our lingo, and that's how So 18 came about. So 18 with a bullet, and we just dig through the crates and find oldies and sample them. But prior to that, we were like hip hop, like straight up. I mean, I grew up listening to like Schoolie D and you name it, KRS-One, and just the greats of hip hop back in the day. A lot of East Coast rappers for me. But so I was heavily influenced by that. But then, when that era came, the whole, the Chicanos and the gangsters and the Cholos, and we grew up around that.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted to tell our story. So that's a little background about.
That's like some tea. That's good. I'm sure, people that follow you, they want to get to know you sometimes, right? So it's always good to give them a little bit of something.
Yeah. So, I mean, they say we're like one of the originators of Chicano rap, which I will say this, because there's a big debate, and they'll say, who labeled Chicano rap or all this.
Yeah.
Our group, we never wanted to be labeled anything. We were just like some Mexican kids making hip hop music. That's how we saw it from our perspective, the way we grew up. That's, so they gave us that label. Yeah. I don't know who came up with it, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying, I just want to be clear, like
So who are you listening to right now in your car?
Man, it's crazy because lately I haven't listened to a lot of hip hop. I do listen to it. Man, I love like corridos a lot.
Okay.
I love country music. But lately, I would say I'm probably playing some of that banda music right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Banda macho or whatever,
And
I like listening to that.
You said you like country too.
I like country too.
Okay, so name one of your favorite country artists.
Right now, who could I say? Because it's like a whole playlist I have. But if I could name, what's that guy's name, man? It just got put onto him. You might, was it Morgan? Is it Wallen?
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just got so I'm playing him.
Okay.
I like his shit.
Yeah.
It's dope. Yeah.
So music, obviously, when you're really into music, people love all types of music.
Oh yeah.
So your favorite type of music is?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, growing up, my dad, he's from Michoacan. My mother is too. And then they lived in Tijuana.
Okay.
But I remember him playing all kinds of like, Pedro Infante and all kinds of music. And then I'm the youngest of 5.
Okay.
My brother's, he's the drummer. My other brother's a bass player. And then they would play like the Beatles and funk and just all kinds of music. So I don't know if I... That's a hard question,
like the
Trish.
Jackson
That's
5 going on over there.
Yeah, but that's a hard question. Like honestly,
okay, all right. So
I like it all. Classic rock I love, but if you want me to pick one, like if I could pick one,
pick one. You got 3 seconds. One.
We're gonna go with I guess classic rock then.
Okay, you see, and that's probably that's the truth. I had to pull it out of you. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. That. Okay. So now I know you were saying that you grew up in Carson. Your middle school was
Carnegie Middle School.
Carnegie Middle School. Okay. And now I hear that you're doing something with middle school age children. Can you tell me more about that? Yeah,
I'm a counselor. So middle school counselor, LAUSD.
Wow.
I work in Boyle Heights in the hood. It's kind of crazy the way that came about. I mean, like I said, we were, rapping. 18 with a Bullet took off, did really well at the time. It's kind of like an underground hit. I remember going to school, hearing the song playing, but I had this teacher, actually 2 teachers that were like a big influence on me. That influenced me a lot. Mr. Neal was one of them. He was a horticulture teacher.
Okay.
And then I had Murray Brumfield, which is like, people that know Chicano rap will know him. He had like one of the first labels called Familia Records. That's where he put out So 18 with a Bullet and our album called Trust No Man, which we sold a lot of records. But Mr. Neal would always talk to me. And I remember that class is a horticulture class. I mean, you know what?
You guys had some time. Yeah, you guys had some time to talk.
And we used to kind of mess around in there too. But anyway, there was a lot of the homies that were fucking around in class were in that class, right? The horticulture class.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but he would always talk to me and tell me, man, he would like draw on the chalkboard. It was weird, man. He put like pitchforks up there. And then he put like angels here and pitchforks down there or whatever. And he would tell me, he'd call me Dave. My name's David, right? He'd be like, Dave, you going up. He was just weird, man. And he'd tell other guys, you going down, right? Ooh. It was weird. And I'm like, man, whatever. You know, but he built a relationship with me. Yeah. We built rapport. And he would always tell me, hey, man, you know what? I think that you can give back, you know? You should go into like some with education, maybe help people out. And he kind of put it in my head. Yeah. At the time, I'm like, you're crazy. Like, I don't want to do that. Right? But that stayed with me. So, you know, doing the hip hop, the rap, I always kind of had a feeling that being a Latino or a Mexicano and hip hop was going to take a long time to like break on through, like, you know, the mainstream, the black artists, right? Yeah. And I just had a feeling like it was going to take a long time. So I'm like, you know what, let me get educated a little bit. And then running with the homies, I did go to jail. I remember going to jail and sitting in there, and I had a homeboy, rest in peace, he's passed away, named Little Pee Wee. And we're in there because it was like they took everybody on the paddy wagon. It was like a rumble. And I'm sitting in there, and I remember he was like, man, it was Carson Sheriff. And I remember him saying, man, I can't wait to go to the county. Right? And I'm like, what? Go to the county? Oh, yeah, homie, they got better food in there. You're going to love it. I'm like, but at that moment, I'm like, nah. Like I thought, like, this ain't for me. And, you know, I'm like, nah, I'm sitting with this dude. I want to be with some, you know, some honeys and shit. And I want to make some music. I want to rap, make beats. So at that moment when I got out, that's when I kind of like thought about all that. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe I got to go to school and study something.
Yeah, and how old were you? And then it kind of
hit me at that time.
How old were you at that time?
I was like 18 years old.
Okay, so you were still a baby. And so
I was young.
Yeah, and so even at that age, you were just like on it. You just knew you had to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah. And so you went to school, you went to college, and Well, I went to, I got my BA from Dominguez Hills. Okay. So I got a bachelor's degree, and then at the same time, I was taking classes for audio engineering. Because I knew I wanted to do music. So I did that. Got my degree at Dominguez Hills, and then I went to Azusa Pacific, and I got my credentials there and a master's degree. Yeah, so PPS credential and a teaching credential. Yeah. Very good. Wow. Smart kid. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I'm smart, but I would never think like that. Like the kids will say, hey, mister, like you probably had straight A's. I'm like, nah, I didn't. Nah, I had D's, man. You know? Yeah. But, you know, and I always use that. I tell the kids, man, you could have a D. You could have a fail. You could still do something, you know? Yeah. So I kind of use that to motivate them sometimes.
Of course. Yeah. Sometimes they need a counselor or a teacher that they can relate to. Yeah. Instead of somebody that is just talking, you know, like to them, right? Or talking at them instead of with them. So you're that counselor. Okay. And so how do you like that? Like, has that been fulfilling for you?
Yeah, I love it. It's challenging at times, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, well, they're middle schoolers, right?
Yeah, they're middle school. Yeah. But, you know, people will say, hey, why don't you go to high school? Or why don't you do college? Because I thought about being a counselor at college at one point. But I'm like, nah, I love middle school. It's something about, you know, it's kind of like, you know, when you're in middle school, you're just up and down, right?
I think it's a critical age.
It's a critical age.
Critical age.
Yeah, it is.
High school, you're kind of already, I feel like you're kind of already molded enough to know what right or wrong, right? Right. But in middle school, it's like you're gonna go this way or that way, right? And that's the time I always say I have children that you know you got to really stay on them. Middle school time, so you have a hard job.
It is tough. It's. I think the hardest thing about being a counselor is to get them to buy in. Like it's like, you know, when you're coaching sport, they got to buy into the coach, right? The philosophy. But it's even harder being, you know, in education because it's not cool, right? Like, I don't want to study. You know how it is. Like, nobody wants to do. It's not the cool thing. So the buy-in is really hard to do. Yeah. And people have told me, "Whoa, you're a rapper. You can use that." I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like, yeah, I can use it and it works sometimes, but the streets are even like they get them harder, right? They're in the hood more often than I'm with them,
right?
So it's kind of hard to get them, but some of them do buy in, and so that's the hardest challenge I think that I have is the buy-in to like, hey, this is a formula. Like I don't tell them what to do. I just say, hey, you got A and B.
Yeah.
Choose your way.
Yeah, especially at that age, they don't want to be told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Nothing. You have to make them believe it's their choice when it's really not.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. Well, I commend you for that, because I know that you are probably saving some child out there. And that, if you even just save one, is more than, a lot of people do in their lives. So that's beautiful. Tough. That's a beautiful thing, to work with kids. I love kids myself. Did you ever feel like you were ever going to like work with kids being a rapper?
No. Back then I didn't even think about it. Not at all. But some of the kids, not lately, but there was a time like, I forget the year, but when that song Lean Like a Cholo was out, and I was in that video, Little Rob, big ups to Little Rob, Summer Nights. Mm-hmm. So that era, those kids knew me, and they're like, Spanish Fly. So that era was a little trippy, because they would recognize who I was, and so they think they can be cool with you. That was a challenge in itself. Like, what's up, Mister? Or like, what's up, fool? What you mean, fool?
Yeah.
So the respect.
Like, have a seat.
We had to have conversations. Yeah.
I can see that being a challenge for sure. Mm-hmm. That's funny. They're like, oh, my counselor's better Spanish Fly. Yeah. That's hilarious.
But can I say something? Because a lot of my students, this is rewarding too. There's some of my students that, man, they gone on and done great things, like become, professionals, and they come back, and I'm like, whoa.
How long have you been doing it for?
I've been 20 years. Almost
I forget.
20 years.
Yeah, I forget.
It's been a while.
Wow.
It's been a while.
So you definitely have gotten to see what you've done in some of these children's lives. So tell me, give me an instance.
Well, there's a few instances. One kid, oh man, I forget his name. He's probably in politics. He was he stands out because was he African American or Ethiopian? I forget what his nationality was, but this is crazy because I'd never seen this. This kid would come in and have a tie, and he'd come in. He was my student under my alphabet, and he'd be like, "Hey, Mister, how you doing, Mister?" Shake my hand, Mister. And I was like, "Whoa!" Like super respectful, right? Then you meet his mom, and you're like, "Oh wow!" But anyway, long story short, that kid, he was a valedictorian. He'd go up there and do speeches. Like, I'm like, man, this guy, is he gonna be president or what? I mean, he'd go up there and just command the room. But we got him to what's the name of the school? Andover. It's a school where, like a high school, where a lot of the presidents go. So myself and the AP, the assistant principal at the time, we helped. He helped me, but we got him into that school. So he applied to there. But that's a great story because he did come back one year. Man, he was older, and I was like, man, what are you doing now? And and he was involved with, like, I don't know if it was might have been the Obama campaign, but he was involved with all that. And and he's like, I think you want to be a governor or something. But I'm sure he's doing great things right now. So that's one thing that stands out.
Yeah. So you're helping everybody else's kids, right? Do you have children of your own?
I do. I have a daughter. She's 3. You know what? I never wanted kids. That's what's crazy.
Wait,
I know.
I think I heard you say how old?
3. She's 3. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 years old. Okay, so you're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Okay. Are you tired?
Nah. Not at all. I'm a single father. I love it. Like I said, I never wanted kids at all. And now I'm like, man, how do I live without her?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So I got a daughter. She's 3. Scarlet Snow. Scarlet Snow Arellano, that's her name. So
wow, look at you just beam when you even say her name.
Man, she changed my life.
Aww, that is the most adorable thing. That's so cute. Yeah, so you never wanted kids. Ended up with this beautiful little Scarlet, who you say changed your life, right? For the better, I'm sure.
For sure.
And so now you are going to have to raise this little girl. Are you looking like, how are you gearing up for that?
You know what?
For all the challenges that a little girl will bring.
I mean, one thing I've, and I mean, you're a parent, you got more experience than I do, right? But one thing that I realized was like, there's no manual for it, right? So for me, it's like, how do I prepare for it? I don't think I even prepared. I just kind of like took it head on, and as I'm going with it now. But what I did learn to do, and something that I talked to my mom about, I'm like, hey, did my dad do X, Y, and Z? And she's like, no. I'm like, did he change diapers? Did he?
Yeah.
She's like, no way. He's like, he didn't do none of that. And so I learned, I do all that. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, a lot of my tios, they don't know how to do that. But, but now that I do that, I'm like, I love it, from a little girl. It's like, I feel like my thing is I just want to be like, I want her to be able to can talk to me, at one point. Because you're right, teenage years are going to be rough. And I'm kind of like, shit, like,
and
how am I going
to come faster than you even can imagine.
Right.
Like, she's 3 now, but she's going to be 13.
Oh, no, don't remind me.
In the blink of an eye. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I should ask you. What, like, how do I prepare for it? I mean, you've probably been there.
Good luck. No, you know what? I mean, I've been blessed, and I feel like all of my girls are very good girls, and so I feel like you really have to lead by example.
Okay.
And not a lot of talking at your kids. I never really demanded things of my children.
Okay.
I always kind of tricked them into doing it.
Trick them. Okay. All right.
No, but I mean, you just let them know what you expect of them, and and I'm sure children expect things of their parents,
right?
And so we have to hold ourselves to the highest standard for our kids, I feel like. And so when you have a badass kid, sometimes where did they learn it from? And that's not everybody. That's not everybody.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we have to hold ourselves to a high standard in front of our children.
True.
And you reap what you sow.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And so just be good to her. I always feel like dads have this. Is she a daddy's girl?
She is. Yeah. She is.
I always feel like dads, like, most dads can have this special bond that's like unbreakable with their girls, and then sometimes boys are mama's boys a lot of the time. But girls, you're her first love. So you're going to teach her how to be treated by a man.
Right.
And so however you want your daughter to be treated like, you better treat her that way.
You're right. You're right.
And don't waver, because she'll accept things that she should not accept if you teach her to be that way. So I'm just saying.
No, I always think about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
Open the door for her. Do things for her. Give her little roses here and there. Make her know. Let her know the standard. What you want her to have, you better be.
I did that for Valentine's Day. Like, she was my date, and I got her, a little flower and all that. Roses. So I did do that. I'm starting to do that already.
Yeah.
Just sort of like you said, so she gets used to that. So, I mean, right, there's, man, I don't know everything, but at least I can, like, do that so she can, at one point, be like, hey, my dad don't treat me this way, And
then talk to her. I mean, show her, I feel like, the real side of men too.
Right.
So that way no man can, like seriously, like, dupe her. It's like, my dad told me about guys like you.
100%.
And they're not going to be able to get over on her at all. So she can look at you and listen to you and go, no, my dad told me.
No, you're right.
My dad told me about your dumb ass already.
Yeah.
I already know. Yeah. So, okay. And so you told me you're a single dad?
Yeah. So, I mean, the relationship didn't work, but I will say, like, it's not compatibility. We were not compatible. She's a great person, though. And, what's crazy is, like, we get along better now. So, it's just me, and, I have my daughter sometimes, and often, it's just her and I. And I mean, I didn't wish it was that way, but it just, sometimes things don't work out, but it's like I said, it's kind of a trip, because people will tell me, like, hey man, how you doing? And I'm like, huh? Like, I'm good. It was a mutual, it was mutual. So when it's like that, it works out. It worked out. I'm blessed. I will say that, because she's a great person, and like I said, she's a good mom.
Yeah.
And so, kind of like what you said, like, her thing was like, look, I just want you to be a good father to her, and that's it. You know, and so it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, it's terrible when parents use their children, to like kind of hurt the other parent. It's like, where do you get that from? You must not really love your child that much.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No. Okay, so single parenthood is treating you well, though. You're obviously doing fine. You're thriving. Any co-parenting advice for somebody going through it right now?
I would just say, don't think of yourself. Like, don't be selfish about it. Like, look at the big picture. Think of your kid.
Yeah.
I think if you think about it that way, it's probably gonna be better.
Of course. So, any future children? Are you thinking of, would you ever have another?
That's one thing too. I realized, like, having my daughter, right? My mom's like, don't ever say never, right? I've always said that, like, never say, no, I'll never.
Yeah.
And I've changed that. I'm like, you know what? I'll never say that. I never wanted my daughter-in-law to have her, right?
Yeah.
So, part of me is like, no, I'm done. Right? I'm older, I'm like, I'm cool. But then I don't know.
I mean, do you feel like you're older? I mean,
I don't feel like I'm older at all.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, age is just a number, right?
Right. You're right. I think the reason I'm a little reserved about it is because I think more of, like, with who, like, regarding like my last situation didn't work out, right? So I'm like, man, I don't want to go through that again. Like, for the kids. So that's probably one of the hesitations I have.
Okay, rightfully so, for sure. So how long were you with your
6 years?
Okay, so that's a long time.
Yeah, 6 years.
And was she like around your age, or was she younger?
No, she's younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know. Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You guys are friends, right?
Oh, you mean you talking about my ex? Nah, I was like, yeah, no.
She's like, we know she's watching.
Yeah, she's probably watching. Like, nah. You know what?
Oh, hell no.
Nah, I think, like I said, never say never, right? But I think,
but never.
I think we make better friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes friends have children.
True. She might be with someone now, so I don't know.
Okay.
But no, la verdad, like, honestly, I think we are.
Yeah, you're good
friends.
where you're at.
Yeah, I'm good, and she's good, and we're happier.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're single now.
I'm kind of like dating somebody.
Okay.
No, I'm not married or anything like that, but
Yeah. So for all the women out there watching, your perfect woman would be?
My perfect woman?
Spill the tea.
Damn, that's a hard question.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Well, perfect from the way I see things. Oh man.
Let's see in how much trouble you get.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's a tough question. Perfect woman.
Okay, let's talk about looks first. I'll help you out. Okay, what would you want her to look like?
Oh, well, when it comes to looks, shorter than me for sure. Okay. Shorter than me, maybe 5'5". Okay. Nice little body. Okay. We're talking about physical, I gotta have a cool little body.
Yeah, we're talking physical. You can.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing we see, right?
I'm the one who asked it.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, don't be mad at him. I asked it.
Cute.
Okay.
Maybe
imagine
like,
you said not cute. Not very cute.
No, cute. Okay. But I mean, I don't have like a certain type of like, you gotta have this color hair. You gotta have. Yeah. I mean, that's look wise, right? Like, just attractive. Okay. To me, obviously, everyone has different tastes, but that's the physical part. But more than that, just to be honest, someone that's understanding and like, I don't like drama. At this point in my life, I've had drama, a lot of drama. So now it's more about like just being at peace. Like, hey, let's just get along and let's build something, like, if we can, and just, and one thing for me, like, my perfect woman would be like, give me my alone time. Like, that's huge for me. Yeah. Like, I need that. I need the music. I need to get in my studio and do my thing. Let me do my thing, and I'll make, and I'll do whatever for you, but give me my time.
So you could be his girl, but don't ever call him.
Yeah, don't call me. Nah.
So don't ever call me.
Nah.
And we're never going on dates.
No, we can go on dates. Yeah. We can go on dates. Just, I just need a little bit of time.
No, I get it. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. So you like your solitude. You like to be alone. And a lot of people who are creative do need that alone time. Right. It's when you're your most creative, you can let all of those, things out and do what you need to do.
Right. Yeah.
And so do you feel like people that are creative, do you feel like they need other people that are creative to have a good relationship so they can understand?
Kind of like in couples?
Yeah.
Like if you're a singer, find a producer or someone in music.
People that understand the industry?
You know what? I've thought about that. I think that can work. I think that can work because, you guys do the same thing. But I also think that it doesn't have to be that way. It just takes someone that, like I said, that also has something of their own that they enjoy, right?
Be busy.
Be busy,
Yeah, do your own stuff. Do what you need to do, right?
Because I think if, let's say, she's a singer. Say I'm with someone, she's a singer, I'm a producer, right? We can always be in there too, but I mean, when are we gonna have our alone time? We're always gonna be in the studio fighting each other. Hey, I want to get in here this time. I don't know.
I think as people get older too, I think that's probably more important to people that are older than younger. When you're young, it's like, oh my God, I want to be everywhere, this person's at, right? And then as you get older, it's like, can you leave me the hell alone? Damn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So back to music. So what do you have going on right now?
Right now, I just finished an album, Spanish Fly album. It's called the Aphrodisiac. I just mastered that. That should be out in a couple weeks.
Okay.
We just released a single called You Can Get It. So yeah, it's part of Spanish Fly. My boy Johnny D and MOC of Mexiclan's part of that project. We're the group now. So we just released that single. We did the video. We got a show coming up this Saturday in San Pedro. Okay. Pull up. Then we got a show coming up we're in July now, huh? So yeah, a couple of weeks with ODM from Lotta Shida Brown. He does these events called on a Sunday afternoon. I think it's gonna be in Riverside or San Bernardino. Okay. So we got that coming up. We some shows coming up.
So you're still pretty active in the industry, right? So how do you juggle being a single dad, being in the industry, and trying to save all these middle schoolers?
Man, drink a lot of whiskey. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, honestly, it's just it's hard to do. You know what? The hard thing is balancing everything. But I don't know how I do it sometimes. Just working right now. I'm off for the summer, so right now it's I'm very structured. Okay, I gotta get this done, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I'm taking advantage of it. But when the year starts back up and I'm back to work, it is tough. I just gotta do, I gotta schedule things really good.
Yeah.
So, and then have energy with my daughter too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go to the gym a lot. I think that helps me, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I feel like as we get older, we definitely need some form or level of self-care, which we don't think about when we're younger. We just go, you can stay up all night, you can do whatever, and then you hit 40, maybe 45, I don't know. You hit 40 something, and then you start going, holy shit, I'm a little tired today.
You know what? I got a story though. Check it out. You do get tired, and I would set up studio sessions in the morning. I'm like, oh, maybe I got to do it in the morning now. But the other day, I like coffee, so I go to Starbucks and I drink black coffee, right? All black, and I got a venti, and I'm like, I just give me a black coffee, right? So I get in the studio. It's about 8:00. I drink it. I'm drinking it, whatever. It's maybe 1:30 a.m. So I go up to go to sleep. I'm like, I'm gonna knock out.
Oh wait, it's 8 at night.
8 p.m. at night.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 p.m. This session was at in the night, right?
Okay.
So I drink the coffee, whatever. It's 1:30 now. Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Hold on.
Drinking coffee at 8?
I love coffee.
Okay.
I drink it. I mean,
but
you got coffee now, I drink it.
You're 51.
I know. But look, it never does anything to me, right? When I drink coffee.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I go upstairs, and I was up till 6 a.m.
Oh my God,
I could not go to sleep, like crack. I'm like, damn. And my mom's like, ¿Pa qué andas tomando café? I'm like,
oh my God.
Man, I just love it. But yeah, it did that to me. I'm like, man, I'm just sitting there like, I can't go to sleep.
The lesson that we just learned there was?
Man, don't drink coffee late at night, man.
No.
Black coffee at
that. Black coffee at night at the age of 51. No. I think when you're like early, like 20, 30, like you can drink coffee. For some reason, it doesn't do anything to you. Yeah. Right? But as you get older, you're like, I can't eat that past 6. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's wild. And what's even funnier is that because people wouldn't think of you like that because you look young. Yeah. Right? But you're like over here like on crack because you drink coffee.
Yeah, I was mad. 6 a.m. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so coffee gets you through life most
it gets
of the
me
time.
Through. Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm
black coffee though.
Yeah. Oh, black coffee. So black coffee is better for you though.
It's better for you.
People don't realize. Like, have you ever tried black coffee? Well, it's not black coffee if you put something in it, right? So coffee with lemon.
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Okay, so I do that sometimes because I'm trying to switch over to black coffee. It's just better for you. I mean, I do cream, I do all of these things, and now I'm like, I kind of have pulled away from the cream, and I'm doing like collagen and all of these things. You don't need it because obviously your genetics have helped you through life. But so lemon with coffee is supposed to be really good for you, and it tastes amazing.
It tastes good?
Yeah, you got to try it. You would try it and let me know.
All right, I'm gonna try it out.
Text me and tell me that shit was good.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
Because
I'll try it.
It is, yeah. So obviously you're healthy. You go to the gym. What does your typical day look like?
Get up in the morning, cook some breakfast, feed my dog. I got a basset hound. If my daughter's not with me, I'll do that, and then I'll go to the gym for like an hour and a half.
You go to the gym every day?
You know what? It's hard to go every day. Yeah. I wish I could. I go about at least 3 days a week, 3 to 4 days.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and come home, get in the pool, swim a little laps, and then get in the studio, drink some whiskey. Yeah. Whiskey's at night. Later after the studio session, I'll have a little bit of whiskey and the jacuzzi, and that's it.
Yeah. Remember, ladies, that's how your skin looks good. Okay, so you got it. You got your whole like routine down, and then that little 3-year-old just drives you crazy, but you love her in the middle of all of it. Yeah,
I've learned to be she's taught me patience.
Yeah. Does she seem to be musically inclined at all?
She is. It's crazy because the single You Can Get It, Johnny D sings a hook, and this is crazy because she's heard all kinds of music, but this song, she will take the phone from me and she'll be like, and she sings a hook. The melody. She don't know the words, but she's just constantly singing that little hook. So I'm like, oh shit, man, it's gonna do well.
I feel like, because I feel like obviously kids don't lie, and kids can feel the music in like a pure way. Right. And I feel like when a little child really loves a certain song, that song's it's destined. To be a hit. Yeah. Right. So you got to run everything by her before you put it out.
Yeah, I'm going to start playing all the music.
That's right. And just make sure she's bobbing her head. And if she is, you keep it. It's a hit. If she's not, you throw it out. Like, that's it. It's trash. If your daughter is not bobbing her head too, it's trash. You just get rid of it. Yeah. It ain't going to do no good. Yeah. Right? Little Scarlett needs to approve everything. Yeah. So, okay, your new album. Let's talk a little bit more about that. So, what was the, inspiration for that?
For that album? Yeah, it's called The Aphrodisiac. I think that one, the inspiration was more like, I've always kind of did production, beats and stuff, but I felt like this one, I really wanted to, add more to it, like more musicianship to it. Yeah. Not just the samples. Like the first album, Trust No Man, was primarily samples, right? Like the oldies, we actually used them, and then this one, I like to do a lot of chopping them up and adding guitar to them. So I just wanted to add a little more musicianship to it. Yeah. So I would say that was my inspiration on this one. And then also my buddy Johnny, I think he has a great voice. I think he don't realize how good he can sing. So I kind of wanted to showcase his talent a little more on it. Okay. So there's a lot of songs that he sings on. Yeah. The one that with Little Rob he sang called Cruise Control, he sings on there. So that was kind of my motivation with this album a little bit. Yeah.
And speaking of instruments, do you play how many?
Well, the crazy part is I can play. I play keyboard, but the weird thing is when I was going to college and for audio engineering and trying to learn how to play, how to read it, I can't do it. I don't know if it's math. I've never been good in math. Yeah. Music is math at times, right? Yeah. I could not read and play, but I can play by hearing. So if I hear a melody or whatever, I'll figure it out. And so I know the notes and stuff like that, but you know, that's kind of how I do it. I can't read.
Yeah. You block it.
Huh?
Like you probably can do. You just block it.
Yeah, maybe I'm lazy with that.
Yeah,
I'm
like I got it. I can hear it. I can do it without having to do that. Yeah, well, that's a gift.
It is.
So that's a gift because people, you know, they can't say that's a natural, that's a God-given gift. People have to do it the other way. You get to like not even look at it.
Yeah, but I wish I could. I wish I could like put the piece here.
I bet you they wish
play the song. You know, when you like my house when we have kickbacks in the back. I have my brother-in-law, my brothers. They can. I'm jealous of them, man. They're over there playing the guitarra and the girls, right? And I'm like, man, I can't do that shit. You know. Yeah. But so I wish I could just fucking do it. But I can figure it out. I just have a way to get it, and I have a whole. There's a madness to what I do, and there's a certain way I do it, and it works out. Yeah. So I can't complain.
If your daughter came up to you and was like, "Dad, I wanna be in music. I wanna," what would you do?
Man, that's a tough question because I know how the industry is, and I see a lot of things. You know, I've been in the game for a while and seen the good and the bad. And you know, I feel like even the female, there's a lot of talent there, but it's, you know, people. I just think there's a lot of pitfalls, you know, and so you gotta be careful.
In general, or just being a woman?
I think in general, obviously, but like I think being a female in the industry, you know, people, they don't do right by them sometimes, you know, and so that as being a father, it kind of like scares me, you know. I'm like, whoa, do you really want to go there? So part of me, I don't want to like keep it away from her, and I'm starting to see she kind of likes singing. So I'm like, damn. You know, I'd rather, like, for me, you know, I'd rather have her, hey, become a doctor, you know, something like that,
but
right?
I'm sure your parents were like, hey, become a doctor.
I know, right? I know, you're right.
It doesn't work out all the time.
It doesn't. So if I see her going that route, I would just really be heavily involved with it.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't take it away from her. Okay. I would just really want to know if she really wants to do it because she wants to, or she just sees, you know.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I mean, I just feel like your daughter's going to be okay. You seem like you're a really good dad.
Thank you.
And she's going to be fine. So whatever she does, I'm sure you'll have her back and she'll do amazing being a little rapper.
Yeah, 100%. A little rapper, huh?
Being a little Scarlet the rapper.
Yeah, my cousins, they always clown like, what's going to be her name? MC Scar? I'm like, nah, dude, she ain't going to rap.
You're like, no, she's a doctor. That's Dr. Scarlet. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cute, though.
But we'll see.
Yeah, so after this album, do you plan on doing any more after this?
Yeah, you know what? It's just, I have a passion to just do music, to produce. You know, I'm creative. I've always been creative, and I just like that. So I'll be 80 years old making beats, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love it. It's a passion. So.
Why didn't you become a music teacher?
Yeah, well, part of it was because I didn't learn how to read it. Like, so I'm like, man, how can I teach this? You know, but there is a class that I was gonna teach it, but it didn't work out. But it was more like production for kids and how to, like, you know. And I've had opportunities. A friend of mine from UC Irvine, she ran a nonprofit, and she's like, hey man, you know, why don't you come and do this beat thing, and you know, I'll take care of you, and you could do it. At the time though, I wasn't able to, like, a program. She wanted me to like run a program. So maybe that'd be cool. It's just, I mean, it was just for production and beats and making beats where you don't need to know how to exactly, you know, play everything. Yeah. It's more like chopping samples and that. And there's classes like that now. Yeah. But that, you know, maybe that, you know. Yeah. Not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, no. So you definitely are, you know, what is it like? You do a lot of different things, and you got a lot going on, obviously. And you say you're going to do this till you're 80.
Man, so, as long as God has me here, you know, that's my passion. So you just got to keep doing it, you know. I still dream every day. Like, I dream, man. It keeps me going.
Yeah. So what do you say for the younger kids, the 20-year-olds just starting out, or 18-year-olds, 14-year-olds? Like
as far as like advice, as far as for music, or just like
just music. Yeah. Let's talk about music first. Yeah.
I would say musically, for music, you know, just, you know, keep being creative, do it. But, you know, if you're gonna get in the industry, just make sure you have good people around you. That's kind of my advice for them, right? Like, who's gonna guide you through this, because it's a crazy game.
So who did you have?
Growing up in the beginning, there was a teacher, Murray Brumfield. Okay. From Familia Records. That kind of guided me. Yeah. And then, you know, I was on another label too with Pocos Pero Locos. And so I had good people around. but then again, I did see some situations where I'm like, whoa, looking back now, like, damn, should have went a different route right there.
Right. Hindsight is 20/20.
Yes.
Right? We all see some things in the past that we could have done differently.
But I will say this to the youngsters, though. Make sure that wherever you are, that they have your best interest. And understand that this is a business at the end of the day. That's one thing that I've learned, because you can get bitter real easy. I've heard people, fuck this music, right? I'm like, nah, dude. Like, don't take it, so personal. Understand it's a business, and like, whoever you're under, it's a business. Like, they gotta, it's their business. They're gonna look out for what they, they gotta make their money too.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be smart and navigate it correctly.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
And then I know you had a secondary plan. Would you advise all of these youngsters to do the same?
I would, because as we see right now in 2024, I mean, I started late 90s, early 90s, right? And the game it ain't as speaking from Latinos, right? Like the whole Chicano rap and all that, like, it ain't as far as like we want it to be. Right. And so I think that you gotta, I think it's smart to have another plan too, but that's just the way I see it, right? Some people say, nah, you gotta go for it. So I always say, I tell my students, I tell them, go for it.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad idea to have this too.
Right. Absolutely. So, I agree with that 100%. Because you can go for it. You can go for it. But you know what? Maybe you need to make some money too.
Right.
Right? While you're going for it. And yeah, maybe you won't get so much sleep, right? Get a night shift job. I don't know, do something to make some money.
I agree.
But go for it, right? That's your dream. Make it happen. But you don't have to be broke while you're doing it.
Yeah, you don't have to be broke.
You can figure it out.
Yeah, there's ways.
Yeah, there's ways.
There's ways to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish, for me, like my parents, they humble beginnings, man. They didn't have much, so I had to help my parents. So I'm like, I can't just, I gotta make money too. So I had to do it. Life.
Yeah, and now there's so many ways to make money, right? You can Uber while you're going to the studio.
You could. I mean, hey, working from home now, right? People work from home. I mean, there's so many ways to make some money.
There's so many ways. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, even like social media, the social media thing.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. Yeah.
You can figure it out there. There's so many ways to make money.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were younger, it was like, okay, you get your little job and like that was it. Like, the possibilities did not seem endless.
Right.
Right. And now it's like, it's wild.
Nah, yeah, there's so many ways, like kids will say, hey, I even tell them, hey, look, you want to be a doctor, this and that, go to college, whatever. But school's not for everybody. No. So there's trades. There's so much, and I tell the kids that, hey, some kids, you want to go to college for 5 years, learn this over here. There's good money here. Just find something that you're going to be able to make a good living.
Absolutely.
And,
And so, I mean, you say you didn't like school, right?
Nah, I really didn't.
So
when
a kid comes up, when a kid comes up to you and tells you, I hate school. Yeah. Are you like, me too?
I tell them, I just say, hey, I understand how you feel. But I tell them, hey, look, this is just something that you have to do.
Yeah, it's your
you
job
have to
now.
Come, right?
Yeah.
If you're not, you're going to get your parents in trouble and look at all this.
To jail.
Oh, you can go to jail and get ticketed, whatever. Yeah. But I always tell them that, hey, you just got to do this. Like, nobody's going to give you what I see right now. And with a lot of kids, there's a lot of great kids. But one thing I do see is not a lot of accountability. Like, they're not taking accountability and they feel like everything should be handed to them. So I really try to let them know, like, hey, life, when you're 18 and, you're out of your house or whatever, you want to get on your own, who's going to give you money? Yeah. Right now your parents love you, so they're giving you everything, but you got to understand later on the world don't work that way. Yeah. Like, so you got to get something. You got to educate yourself or get a trade, get something. And then you got your hobby, which is music, whatever. You want to be a singer, rap, I don't care what you do. Follow that till the end, but have something else. I think is just important. It's worked for me,
And do you feel like these kids receive that? Do you feel like they listen?
I think some do. Yeah. Some do. I've had some kids that, like I said, they'll come back, hey, mister, I'm in college right now, or I'm working here, I'm doing this. And then I had the opposite too. I had some kids, man, good kids too, smart, were like, they were shot, they're killed, 14 years old. So sad. But they think it's a joke. I mean, I had one kid tell me, look at you, mister, you turned out all right. I said, yeah, but I was blessed. Like, I got lucky. I tell them I'm lucky that I'm here. Yeah. You might not be lucky. And they laugh sometimes,
Yeah.
But, it's It's all good. I got a basset hound, man. Shoot, I love dogs.
Okay, guys, that's Coco.
What's up, Coco?
Like,
Coco's like, I ain't having it.
Coco is about half a pound.
Yeah, that's why I think I was petting her.
Yes,
right?
and she swears she's a pit. So no, girl, you can't do anything. Okay. So okay, let's talk about social media really quickly, right? So I know social media was not around when you were growing up.
No.
What is your opinion on social media and how it affects kids nowadays?
Man, there's a lot of social media is it's good and bad for the kids. It really affects them a lot. You know, I mean, I've seen a lot of things. You know, obviously they're always on their phones. You know, I think it takes parents to be more on top of their kids now, like nowadays, right? Because they just want to be on the phone. And you know, when you're in middle school, 14, like your job, you're gonna, you know, you tell your son stay in here, or your daughter, they're gonna try to get out of it. That's their job. They're gonna try to wild out and you know go against whatever you tell them.
Right.
So as a parent, you got to be really observant of that. But I have seen some things where, like, you know, one of my students, female student, she like someone took a picture of her and she put it up on they put it on social media and it went around, you know, things like that. Like it can be dangerous for some of these kids. And now what they're doing is they like to fight and then they'll like film it and they post and they do, man, cyberbullying, like you get a lot of that too.
Like that is evidence.
Threatening
Don't put that
each other.
What are you doing? Yeah,
they don't care. I'm like, man, what's going on? Yeah, they're just like whatever.
Yeah, it must be so wild to be like, because you're like immersed in that whole world, right? And so you get to see these kids on a daily acting a fool sometimes, not all the time, not all the kids, with the social media, and it's just like it can be such a weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, and they can use it for so much good too. There's things they could do on there. There's they can, you know, start businesses, all of these things that can be used for good, but these kids, like, it can be such a weapon too. And so do you think it was a blessing to grow up without social media in your industry? Do you think you could have catapulted a little bit quicker if you had social media back then?
I think it probably would have helped us a little more.
Okay.
I mean, even remember the MySpace? Like we had a little bit of that, but it's not like how it is now.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I mean, I think it would have helped us, but at the same time, I think there's something to growing up when we grew up and like having just sell them out the trunk and you know, like the CDs, and then they sold over 300, 400,000 because we sold a lot of records just out the trunk, underground, right? So that says a lot. So I'm proud of that. But if we did have the social media, man, back then, man, you know, it would have helped us a lot. Maybe you know, make some more money and you know that. So it can be good and bad. I think with the whole social media thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's not too late.
Not too late. You're right. It's just flooded now. I feel like it's just flooded. No one like.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's TikTok. You go Instagram, TikTok. You on TikTok?
You know what? I recently did a TikTok. I said I wouldn't do it, and I just did it. But I'm not on it heavy.
Yeah,
like, I'm more on the Instagram, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard enough to do one.
It is.
It's like, how are we gonna do two?
It is hard. If I didn't do music, I probably wouldn't have one. To be honest.
Yeah, I think like it's for business. You know, like I get why the kids do it, but when you have a business, I think it's like crucial. And so it's kind of a catch-22.
True.
You know, it's just another job. And for industry people, right, that's something you guys definitely have to have.
Yeah,
if you don't have one, you're just not doing your job. It's a sign of the times. You got to go with the times, you know. So so you definitely got a lot going on.
I messed up though. I remember having one and then deleting it, and you know, like, so
just not realizing.
I should have kept it. I had more traction. You know? But
for sure.
It's
for
cool.
Sure. It's okay. You're doing good.
You're not a biggie,
right? Yeah, you're doing just fine. So that's amazing. So tell me one more time what you have coming up, your dates, your show dates. Give me a couple of those. Throw those out there right now.
Yeah, July 6th, I think, is this Saturday. We'll be in San Pedro, Spanish Fly. And then the date for the one with ODM, Lighter Shade of Brown, that Sunday afternoon event. Okay. I want to say exactly the 20-something. I don't know the exact date, 24th, something like that. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact date, but That's coming up. I mean, you can go to my social media and
okay.
You know, I'll have more dates on there.
And where can you get these tickets at?
Yeah, the tickets. I think the Eventbrite, I think, is the one for this Saturday.
Okay.
The one for Lighter Shade of Brown, I'm not too sure like how he's going about that. I know we're gonna be performing there. But I don't know exactly the details where they can get the tickets.
And you said they can go to your social media.
Yeah.
And where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Ese Daz 110 South on Instagram. So Ese Daz 110 South, and then Spanish Fly 110 South. This is a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we gave you the dates. We gave you his social media. You have no excuse. Go follow him. Yeah. Go get some tickets. Go do whatever you need to do. He might have some whiskey waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So I appreciate you so much. It was a great conversation. We've learned a little more about you personally. And I think that's cool. I love it. I love it. You did so amazing. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you. I just want to thank you for having me. You know, I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, thank you. And man, like I said,
it's cozy.
It's cozy.
You don't want to leave. You could stay. You could just relax. Cool, you don't got to leave yet.
Finish my drink.
Yes. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you. So thank you guys. And I will see you on the next episode of Tea with Trish.